How's it going, everybody? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be discussing 12 notable and interesting classic commemorative half-dollar errors. Basically, the classic commemoratives were made from 1892 to 1954, and there's a lot of errors that were involved with this series. They're pretty cool, though they often, and in almost all of the cases that we'll be looking at today, will not actually have much of a premium in terms of value, but solely I'd like to take a look at these just to highlight how cool some of the coins in this little-known series are. For example, on this Stone Mountain double die, we're going to see that later, about 1 in 10 specimens show evidence of this double die. So basically what that means is a lot of these there is a high supply. So with that being said, let's get into our first of the day. This is probably one that you may have heard of already, the 1892 World's Columbian Expedition repunch date. Basically, I've seen a couple of different ones of these, but the common one has the 9 and the 2 repunch. There's also one where it's just the 9 along the right side of the 9, but it's a really cool design, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show a picture of the error over here, and then also have the full coin on the right. Similarly, we have the 1893 World's Columbian Expedition repunch date, and this one also has the 9 and 3 protruding, with less of an example over here in the 1893, so that's pretty cool. And this brings us to our next one, which is a different one, the 1915 Panama Pacific Exposition repunched mint mark. There are 2 repunched mint marks that are pretty known, but I'm just going to give the example of this one where it's the top of the S is coming out at the top as shown right there. And this is a cool coin. Here's the Panama Pacific Exposition, and that's where you'd obviously be looking for the mint mark. But with that being said, the 1920 Pilgrim Tercentenary die crack or breaks is an interesting variety, and it's just basically because there are a lot of die cracks and breaks in the sails almost of this commemorative half dollar, and it's a long die crack that's going to be running vertically between the ship's 2 forward masts, so right here and here, and there are different stages of this, but basically it's a cool thing that you can look for often on these coins. The 1925 Stone Mountain double die is the one that I referenced earlier. It's going to be doubling found in the date, so often in the bottom of this 25 is where you're going to be able to recognize it, but the 1 in 10 means that's why there's not much of a price increase, because it's pretty common, though I'd love to own some double die coins. I don't actually think I have any at the moment. Same year, the 1925 Fort Vancouver also has a double die. This one is really difficult to see, but I can assure you that it does exist. It's the FS102, and I could only find this image basically online. There's a little bit of doubling in the 1 there, and then you can also find it in the side of this We Trust in the W, but this is what you're going to be looking for. Very little known error, but it's still interesting. You know, I learned a lot of really cool stuff when I made this presentation, and this is the type of coin that I wouldn't have thought that you'd really be looking for it. So it's not going to be on the left date, only on the right. The 1925 We Trust is where it's been found. 1934 D Oregon Trail triple die obverse, really cool. There are multiple dates with this tripling exhibited, but it's often found in the half dollar. Right here, you can see there's 3 layers of doubling, which is quite a lot. I mean, that's not the most that we're going to be getting into, though. For now, I'll show you the 35 over 34 D Daniel Boone, and it's not really an overdate. It's just because the 1935 was put here, and then it's also found in 1934 up there, so that is an error, and that's not how it's supposed to be, so that's something to look for. Most of them won't have this combination. 1936 Cleveland Centennial Counterstamp. There were also later counterstamps, but on the Cleveland Centennial, the, I guess, Western Reserve Numismatic Club stamped their anniversary coin, or anniversary celebration, I guess, on these coins that were commemorating Cleveland's Centennial. So that's what this is. If you see this on the coin, I don't know if it really brings much more value. I haven't looked at the prices for these. This is the only one where I haven't. Next up, we have our quadruple die obverse with a repunched mint mark to boot. You can see in the R here, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. And then I'll show you the repunched mint mark in our next slide, but it's a really cool coin in that there is literally 4 strikes. It is a quadruple die, very rare. Most of the time it's 2, sometimes like the Oregon Trail 3, but this is 4. And the repunched mint mark also comes on its own sometimes with the D coming out of the bottom as shown here over the top of the regular Denver mint. This is for the San Diego, California Pacific Exposition. Last up, we have the 1952D Carver Washington repunched mint mark. I have this coin in my typeset. I think it's really cool with how they have the states outlined and everything, but we're going to be looking down here at that Denver mint mark on the 1952 coin, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a protrusion here from the D. It's been repunched. So that concludes this presentation. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and that's kind of what I've had a lot of fun making this presentation. It's interesting, this series for me. A lot of coins people don't know too much about, but there are a slew of errors that are associated with it, so now I know a little bit more about these errors. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and connect with me, whether it's on Instagram at TreasureTownYT, Reddit at rTreasureTownYT, or on my website, treasuretownyt.com. Have a great day, and I hope to see you on some of my other videos.